measure's not as strict as the scientists would have liked. So it seems to be a division again.
Yeah, well, the scientists are seeing what's happening. They're seeing increased hospitalisations, increased numbers of people going to ICU and a rising death rate. So they're concerned that we are back to square one. They want to lock down quickly and not be too late this time. And whilst nobody wants these extra restrictions, and they're very difficult to live with, they're almost certainly necessary. But of course, the government will make a decision based not just on that advice, but on advice from economists as well. So they're in a cleft stick, really. They don't know what's the right way to go. You're not going to please all the people all of the time. But as far as I'm concerned as a doctor, you've got to protect the health of the nation first, and then you can start to, ease measures so that the economy can go forwards. But in a controlled way. We need test and trace, for sure, and we need people to socially distance more.
Well, the front page of the Star puts it very well, which is, there you are, we're back to square one, and that's what it feels like. It feels like after everything that we've been through, after all that's been done and all the sacrifices that were made by the frontline workers and people cancelling their weddings and not being able to have everyone round about them at funerals and all of these things, here we are back again. And it begs the question, if you put these measures in place, when you take them away, are we just going to go back? Are we just going to be going in ever decreasing circles?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to go from tier 1 to tier 3. We're going to slide from one to the other, unless when we put in a lockdown, we come out of it with a clear preventative message for everybody to follow, so everyone knows what they're doing. You look at China. They had 5 cases in this one area. They're going to do 9 million tests.
9 million.
Right? We've got 14,000 cases every day, not 5, 14,000, and we're testing about 80,000. People every day. So that's not good enough. We've got to vastly improve our capacity to test, and we've got to get people voluntarily to self-isolate when they test positive, because that's not happening either.
No, it isn't. It really isn't. Dr Amir is with us. Amir, it's really good to see you. And I know where you are. You're tier 2, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Morning, Lorraine. Morning, Dr Hilary.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm in Leeds, which is tier 2. We've actually been in local restrictions for quite some time. I work in inner city Bradford, which has had local restrictions imposed since the end of July. And I know the impact that's had on my patients. I work in a highly socially deprived area. The effects that's had on mental health, the physical health of my patients has been immense. But what's disheartening in all of this really is that, my patients, the people around here have been adhering to the rules. We haven't been flouting them at all. But time and time again, we see the government fail us and the test and trace system failing us. So while we're in local restrictions, tests are getting lost. People aren't being contact traced. And that's the real issue. And you've seen from those front pages that there may well be a north-south divide when it comes to this COVID, but it's actually a poverty, urbanisation / other divide. We know that this virus isn't the great equaliser, as Boris Johnson said. It highlights social and health inequalities, and we've known that for some time. And unfortunately, nothing has been done to address that. And that is what's frustrating people up here in Leeds, certainly my patients in Bradford, who have been key workers really in the NHS in care, taxi drivers, bus drivers, takeaway owners, people who have had to work throughout and adhere to the rules where necessary. But it felt very London-centric in terms of the rules coming out from there, not necessarily local, which is what we've been asking for all along.
And the effects on your patients, I mean, you must see that. Obviously they're coming to you with physical ailments, but the mental health effects must be huge.
Yeah, really, really big. Up until this tier 2, actually, Bradford and Leeds, we weren't allowed to meet in private gardens outside of our household. And that kind of outdoor activity has a huge social benefit to people's minds. And they've been lacking all of that. The fact that there is some element of blame put on people from the north as well in terms of spreading the virus. I think that's really a bitter pill to swallow, particularly when there are errors from government. And that's having a huge impact on mental health, social well-being. Part of our mental health, part of what keeps us well, is socialising with others. And we understand that we can't do that. We really, really do understand that. And we're not doing that. It is just that when we get let down from a higher level, it is really tough. And that takes another battering to our mental health.
It's the frustration, isn't it, for both of you? I mean,
Hugely.
both of you are right at the heart of this. And the worry is, as I've said, when you lift these restrictions, we just go backwards again. So we have, I mean, Hilary, you've talked, and Dr Amir's talked about it as well. We've got to get the tracing right. We've got to get that right.
It's really important.
Before, you know, everybody goes on about a vaccine, but that's like, we don't know when that's going to be.
The tracing has to be much, much better. It has to be ramped out considerably in greater quantities. And then we need people to follow the advice that they're given when they're contacted. That's not happening at the moment. But when they are told that they're positive, they have to do the self-isolation. There are far too many people not adhering to that, thinking, well, we've only got to look at what some ministers do. You know, they flout the rules and everyone copies that. But that is wrong. It's disrespectful to other people. It's putting other people's lives at risk. And we've got to get that message across. So it's got to be a voluntary thing that the whole nation can follow. Yeah,
exactly. And I know, Amir, you would agree with that completely.
I would. My sister works in, she's a consultant in A&E in Bradford, and she's telling me the cases there are just going up and up and up. I was in a hospital in Leeds. They've got a whole ITU ward full of COVID patients. So, you know, out of respect for the NHS workers, for care staff, people do need to isolate when they're told to do so.
Exactly. One thing, though, I have to say about Britain is we don't lose our sense of humour. Now, you know how pubs have got to be shut, and obviously places that sell food can still be open. So I think, I hope this is in Liverpool. God bless Liverpool because they're locked down. Soup of the day, carling, £2.80. So that's the way that they're getting round the rules. And you know what? If you put a pint in a soup bowl, not going to happen, is it?
Beer soup.
Beer soup. Beer soup. Oh, geez.
No, a sense of humour is important.
It is.
Laughter is the best medicine, sometimes, especially here, because there's not much else. No, but it's really important. And you know, I think there are so many messages that we need to get across to people. Social distancing.
Yep.
Mandatory masks, where you can't socially distance. Test and trace. We can get through this, but we need a bit more of an effort.
Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.